Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Inside the Walls podcast here on the National Arena League's Facebook page and all of its social media platforms. And we have a 2-for-1, the behind the scenes, the front office, as you will, minus the commissioner, of course, is none other than myself, Jim Renier, Director of Media Operations, digital media, and of course, my buddy, partner crime in the National Arena League, the assistant to the commissioner, Steven Chitola. How you doing, Steve?
Doing good. Enjoying a nice November evening in Florida. It's like perfect temperature to be outside. So, but the real reason I'm out here is because my kids are so loud inside, and we did a mic check earlier, so we were like, yeah, this isn't gonna work. So I got booted out onto my father-in-law's patio. Anyone who's ever moved could probably feel my pain. We just sold our house last month, and we move into our new house tomorrow. And so I'm living in my in-laws' house at the moment, but I'm kind of enjoying the view. We got a nice little pool here. I don't know if you can see, but yeah, welcome to Florida for those who are not here with me and Jim. So it's been nice. It's been like staying at a resort with your in-laws.
Stay at a resort with your in-laws. Sometimes that's a good thing, and sometimes a bad thing. The good thing is you get to watch the kids while you and your wife or your significant other get to go, be like you when you were kids. You go hang out and let the grandparents spoil the children. That's what you usually do. You
Yep.
let them spoil
Yeah.
the kid, and you go
It's
be
like having
be a kid again.
I go home, I go to work, and I have my bosses, and then I come home, and it's like I have my home bosses, but now I also have the father-in-law. Like, hey, did you get your driver's license updated to the new address? Did you get this done? Did you get that done? And it's just like, so I'm working kind of 24/7. It's been wonderful. So, but no, it's been nice, honestly, and like I said, like Florida, Florida this time of the year is wonderful. So it's not too hot, not too cold. So I don't mind being outside right now.
Well, honestly, we can both say this, and I know the people who are where most of the team leagues are, or the most of our teams are in league, or in the Midwest, to be like, oh, look, two Floridians talking about the weather. Uh, we had a little bipolarish type of weather a
Oh,
couple
it's like
weeks ago.
freezing. Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
believe it was in the 30s, like a
it
week ago, which was for that, like in early November is not a thing. That doesn't normally happen. So that was weird. That was kind of a one-off. But now tomorrow it's going to be in the 70s and 80s. So I don't
right.
know. I can't keep up.
Like I don't like that's we Floridians, and I know people in the Midwest are like, oh, come on, guys, what are you talking? We know you live in Florida. It's just like you go from 30 to 29, and then 2 days later, it's mid 90s again.
Yeah,
Like,
it's hot. Like yeah, exactly. Like
and
I don't know
it's
what to
not
wear
like
to
there's
work
no
anymore.
humidity. It's
Yeah,
legit
but in the
heat.
morning it'll be really cold. So the way I could put it is like imagine being in Iowa in December and it's 92 degrees, like just unpredictable.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
But we have you on the show, and we have myself on the show. We had to do a little switcheroo of how we do the episodes. Next week, we have Coach Shaw coming on to talk about Colorado, wrapping up the tour of fall camp, or you could say preseason road trip for the upcoming year,
yeah.
with a special guest. Uh, maybe QB1, maybe the special guest. So tune in next week
Okay.
on Tuesday. We'll get the lowdown on Colorado, but this episode we wanted to discuss what goes on behind scenes, what me and Steve do behind scenes for the National Arena League, what we're bringing to you, the fans, what are the new things that we're introducing, new internships, a new store, new individuals in the front office. What are the next couple weeks, months will lead to the National Arena League before we kick off the 2026 season in March. But we want you guys to have this little chill episode. You can send your questions, league questions only. This is no team descriptions. We're talking about league
Yeah.
operations, mostly in the front office. Uh, but send your comments and your questions. Remember, like, share, and subscribe. Do your things. Remember, follow us on all social media platforms at NAL Football. And also visit the website, thenationalarenaleague.com, for more information on the National Arena League and its 9 organizations. Where do you want to begin there, Steve-O?
Well, I feel like we're letting people down because it's like, hey, if you're here to see the NAL Coach of the Year, you got to wait till next week. But we got Steve here. But it's all right. No, let's talk league front office. Let's talk about new and exciting things. I don't think we talk enough just between us. I don't think we talk about enough about some of the things we've never done before in the NAL. We launched our team store for the first time in league history. we launched our first ever scholarship program for our athletes and coaches, which has never happened. In fact, someone can challenge me and correct me, but I don't know of an indoor or an arena team that or elite arena league that offers scholarship opportunities to athletes to get their virtual education online or even on campus um, at a discounted rate just simply because you signed a contract with an NAL team. So
Right.
if you are and I'll just go right into SNHU, why not? That was a partnership that I was able to connect with, and I introduced to Brandon, our commissioner. Kind of my role as special assistant is thank you, I am the first line of defense for the NAL. So if anyone approaches the NAL, whether it's a team, coach, player, um, positive or negative, if it's a company, Brandon usually will throw it to me first. There's no need to open the floodgate and let everyone attack Brandon from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. to 2 a.m. There's no point in that. So one of the reasons we created my position was to create a filter and a boundary for quality control. And so SNHU was a partnership that we approached that I caught on really quickly and connected with and thought it was a really good idea. I also, before I even approached Brandon Eichard, I connected with head coaches in our league, including another Brandon that just happens to have the same name, and said like, hey, before I pitch this to the league, what do you guys think about it? How can we build this into something that would be beneficial? And sure enough, it was like across the board, 10 out of 10. Everyone agreed that it would be a really good idea. After me and Brandon got involved and connected with this organization, it was a home run from our presentation to what they even offered us that we never even expected. So we're super grateful for this partnership and opportunity. I think it shows what the NAL can be, which is giving back to not only the communities in our individual markets, but giving back to every single person who's ever been involved in the league. If you were a alumni athlete, if you're a current athlete, if you're a coach, if you're an assistant coach, if you are working in football operations, video operations for a team, if you're involved in an organization and you want to continue your education, you can do that through the NAL with SNHU. We actually offer money towards your education. And so if you go to SNHU, we're actually affiliated on their website now where you can actually click the drop down with affiliate partners, select the National Arena League, and it actually shows you how much the National Arena League saves on your education, which I think is phenomenal. And this is just like the early days in this process. Me and Brandon decided this is going to be our year one of real outreach, real partnerships. Whether we have 9 teams or 19 teams, this isn't going away. So we have a great opportunity to keep building scholarship opportunities, future job opportunities that we're approaching certain companies, organizations that I won't speak of yet. Opportunities to give back to the United States, whether you want to serve in an armed force. I would love us to be the success story for some of these branches in the military of how an athlete or a coach signed with a team and then ended up going to serve in the branch, or active duty people that served in the forces and come back and they still want to pursue their athletic careers and things like that, or maybe want to get into coaching and stuff like that. We worked with several head coaches in the NAL that are former servicemen or are first responders and stuff like that. So these are the type of partnerships that we're trying to develop in the NAL. We're kind of going baby steps right now, but as SNHU was one of the ones where it was just like, hey, we don't want to play mini golf. Let's go play 18 holes right now. We'll offer you this if you guys are willing to work with us. So we said, absolutely. If this is going to benefit our coaches and players, whether it's 9 teams or 19 teams or whatever it is, we're going to do it. And this is something that's going to benefit teams that join the NAL next year and the following season. So we basically planted a seed and it grew. Me and Brandon agreed it grew faster than we thought. So I think it's just kind of it's a good example of the type of partnerships that the NAL can do, and the scale the partnerships can do. I don't know if you're aware, but SNHU is the largest online university in the United States. It has more students than any other online college. It offers more degrees than any other online college. So we're not working with minor, small, medium. We're working with the biggest and the best, which is really great for us. So that just covers SNHU, but there's other stuff that we're doing right now. I'd rather wait until it's official and documents are signed and Brandon gives me the text message and the thumbs up that I can talk about it. But we'll wait for those months and days to come. So, I mean, the front office is working really hard. You're now a part of it. But the NAL front office in general is we are a day-to-day operation. We're fully functional from the digital level to the football operations level, thanks to Chris Reynolds. And with me and Brandon working, I'm basically his right hand this season, which has been great. We've been teaming up and partnering. And and don't forget, speaking of new things like NAL Shop, us being able to have our own merchandise store from the league. So we're able to represent all the teams in our league and everything like that. To offer discounts to fans, offer merchandise opportunities to fans, maybe something that you can't get at a game that you might not see in the team store, you might be able to shop online and get. And the holidays are coming up. Don't wait till the home opener to get your wife or loved one or your husband something really great. Go ahead and shop now at nalshop.com. This is the opportunity. And I mean, look at this stuff. Like some of the stuff I've never even seen except for the online store. So why not benefit by going on nalshop.com? Every purchase you make benefits the league and benefits the team. So if you're a fan of the NAL, if you're affiliated with the NAL, or you want to be part of the NAL, the NAL shop's a great way to, contribute and give back. And again, as we start building up our philanthropy and great causes, I think NAL shop's going to be one of our biggest ammunition points of how we can give back to big organizations and stuff like that. And I recently got to work with Chris Reynolds this year. He's now part of our front office. He's running football operations, but he is a former first responder, and he knows our mission to give back to the community and stuff like that. So, and he has a lot of great ideas of working with foundations and organizations and stuff like that. So the future, I believe, is really bright for the NAL, brighter than it's been in a long time, and I'm excited to still be on board and be a part of it and be at an elevated level now where I can be in these closed door meetings to make major decisions that affect everyone from coach, player to owner.
Well, you speak about the behind the scenes closed doors, and it's been a very active off season with the additions of some traditional teams in the landscape in the region where Omaha and Sioux City are, with the addition of Salina, and also the addition of Southwest Kansas. And I've asked you this behind the scenes, but I think it's a good question to ask you because you're in the front. What move this offseason, especially the additions, really gets you excited for the potential of this season? What organization do you think that came in this year that you think can spark something in the league?
Man, you got me on a tough one, Jim. Well, you mentioned two really good ones, right? Like right off the bat. Do I pick one or
Right.
the other? I would think it all started at owners meetings, right? Like we want to raise the bar and standards, and I think one of the things that Brandon Eichert did as commissioner coming in is that we're not going to settle for second fiddle. We're going to be the best that we can do in the areas that we can be great at,
Right.
within our scope. And so having the owners meetings in Vegas this year, bringing everybody together, not making it optional, making it mandatory, having all these teams in. I'm not going to pick an individual team and say they're the best. That's like playing fantasy football. But I
Yeah.
will say that we've had some great additions to the league this year. Two of the teams that you just mentioned are great, but also we've had some great teams come back and some revivals and rebrands. Like Louisiana is a great example of a team that I think is going to surprise a lot of people. They had a very interesting first year as an organization, but you know what? With the ownership now in place, I think they proved that that's a market that has a fan base and that can play our sport. And I think you're going to see really big positive things come out of that Louisiana franchise. That I think that's a market we don't want to lose. I think that's a market that's going to thrive and help us get other markets, like you saw with Dallas, which is just right across the border. And so we actually were able, as a league office, I think we were able to not only build on things, but also protect things that really matter to us, if that makes sense, and really preserve things that I think really help make the league great. So yeah, I'm sorry I'm kind of being a politician right now by not picking an individual team, but I think the teams we added on are great, and the teams that we were able to bring back are great too. So I think all of it's going to lead to a greater, upcoming season.
Oh, you're gonna get canceled just saying that you're a politician or trying to be a politician. They'll just cancel you anyways. Like,
I'll text you my pick. How about that?
I already, yeah, I'm getting your texts like about certain games from last year, so I know how you
Yep,
are sometimes.
exactly.
Um, but hey, it's a sport that we are in. As you know, we had the owners meeting earlier. Then we had the additions of the teams, and we had the schedule that came out. Um, One thing that I have gotten feedback from other fans in the sport they're very high on how the NAL got the teams that they wanted in for the next season, and their schedule was out promptly, and that tickets were going on sale instantly compared to previous seasons.
Yeah.
And you work behind the scenes, and you know more about this side of the spectrum. You can say there was almost like a mandate, like we needed certain dates. You needed to hit something certain dates before we progress. And when schedule came out, tickets came out, it seemed like the league is hitting the dates. And for me, working with the league, the energy behind the scenes is top tier, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Do you feel like, because this is entering the second, like this is the second year under Eichert. This is the second year moving in his vision, and we've worked in the NAL from Chris Siegfried to Todd Walkenhorst and then Brand. So
Yep.
we've seen the evolution of the league go from 14 teams, 6 teams, 10
Yeah.
teams. It fluctuates, and now it looks like we're stabling out where we're at with the organizations, and it all spawns, you think, through from the leadership of the front office, including Eichert, how everything has now become mandates. Is that
Well,
the
you know
vibe
what I
that
like? You know what
that's
I
the vibe
really
I'm
like,
getting.
Jim, about all of it is all three commissioners you mentioned, each commissioner kind of passed the torch. Like each of them contributed in their own way, almost kind of like a president. There are some things that each commissioner did that they were really special at. I think each of them brought something. Like, for example, I'll go with Todd. I never met a commissioner that was more focused on broadcast and making media and pushing that presence. And I think he has like the record for like highest expansion, like a season or something like that. And even though he was with us for only a short amount of time, his contribution to the league is phenomenal. I don't know if the league would have lasted if he would have left mid-season or whatever, when he first started. So for him to get through that year, and he still contributes to the league, as you know, in Nebraska and stuff like that. And he was at our championship game last year. And then Chris Siegfried, when he came on, like he had just as much turmoil as Brandon in certain ways. Like I see what Brandon deals with from the football side to the business side of harsh, really tough decisions, teams coming and going and things like that. I remember like those days too, like way back in the day. So I think I've learned the most out of anyone in the NAL because I got to be with each of those commissioners. So I got to kind of be around that shoulder and be in those meetings and be on those calls and see what worked and what didn't work. And so my advice, I think, is invaluable to help Brandon. But I think one thing that I love about Brandon Eichert is that his commitment to one league, one schedule, one drop date, and making things work. And if that means that we have one less team in our league because we made those deadlines, he's the commissioner that's willing to do that, which I think from a business perspective, every owner that's involved in the league right now really appreciates. That's being a good boss. That's being a good manager. That's being a good leader. I know a lot of times fans think the more teams, the better. The more teams, the better. That's not necessarily true. A lot of times the NAL has had better seasons by going with quality, not quantity. And I think this season's going to prove that. And I got to be honest, Jim, this is my favorite topic is the schedule. And I have a lot of owners on this call that would agree with me. I worked in team media. Do you know how stressful it is to be the team media guy and you're having to redraft the third schedule for your team, to redo every schedule poster in your arena, to redo every pocket schedule in your arena, to email the press to remind them our home opener is no longer on April 4th. It's now April 18th. Please do not come. There will be nothing there. It is dreadful. The NAL is going to prevent that this year with all of our, with everything that Brandon's doing. We have a really proven, great staff around us. Brandon's at the top, but he's got a lot of people around him, including you and me, Chris Reynolds, and all these really great, and nobody talks about it, but we have some really great committees ran by and they're all owners of NAL teams that are involved in these committees, from compliance to expansion to all, I could go on and on and on. I'm actually part of the appeal committee. So there's a lot of people that are behind the scenes that don't get enough credit, but us as a league made sure that we would establish that we get our schedule out, we get it on time. And there's a lot of people that are not given the credit for building that schedule, that work their butts off day and night to make that happen, that reach out to all the arenas, that deserve a lot of respect. They have my respect. but at the end of the day, like, it is dreadful having to redo those schedules year after year. And I'm proud that our league was able to go first. But first doesn't matter if the first is just a draft and you announce it publicly, it's not really the real thing. So I was living those days at the team level, having to go, hey, here's schedule 2.0, here's schedule 3.0. Did you already print those 10-foot by 10-foot banners that we paid thousands of dollars for multiple set to cover on All Sides Arena? Like, do we print those? Yeah, we did. They're actually already up. We got to take those down. So, it's for some people,
know.
a schedule is a schedule. Snip, snap, it's magic. Anyone that's ever helped build a schedule, anyone who's been involved, anyone that's had any skin in the game knows schedules really matter. And, us being first is a huge accomplishment, but us actually getting to the finish line and going to opening day with the same schedule, that's the biggest accomplishment of all time. That's the difference between professional leagues and minor league teams.
And we can talk about some schedule fiascos with our hometown team from yesteryear, you can say, where we open up with a certain team and the team changes is because of how the sport was during that time. But let's take a short break and let's talk about. We brought him up twice, a couple of times, Chris Reynolds, about what he's going to do more for the league behind scenes.
100%.
After this break, and to the fans who are watching this live, there's 20 of you live on. Appreciate it. Hopefully, you're having a blessed Thursday, or blessed Wednesday. I'm already a day ahead, and I'm already thinking of work tomorrow. See, that's how bad it is. And I'm still here. But with that, send your comments if you want a question from the front office. What we can actually give to you, what we're allowed to. We're not going to give you any hints. We're just going to answer. Just send the questions in, send the comments. Remember, share, like, subscribe, and also follow us on social media on all of our platforms at NALfootball.com. We'll be back right after this.
I earned my degree online at Southern New Hampshire University.
After I graduated, I started a new job.
I was finally able to realize my purpose and passion in life.
Pursuing my degree gave me so many opportunities to grow. Don't just think about yourself. Think about the lives that you can really change.
SNHU laid the groundwork.
I am doing what I've always wanted to do.
If I was back at the beginning, I would choose SNHU all over again.
NALshop.com is where to go to get ready for the holiday season. You got some, what's the little trend there, Steve? The ugly Christmas sweaters, the mini
ugly
helmets.
Christmas sweaters. We got Black Friday coming up. So I already got approval to announce this leak. So you might be hearing this for the first time. But right before Black Friday, if you guys stay close to your phones and stay close to your devices, the NAL may be releasing authentic jerseys from our teams. They're also going to be releasing other merchandise opportunities and things like that. So if you want to shop NAL, this is the best month out of the whole year to get the best discounts. Black Friday means a lot. Nationwide Black Friday is a big deal. That includes the National Arena League. We want to capitalize on it just as much as anybody else. So anyone that wants to shop NAL, this is the month that I recommend it. Do not wait to the home opener when there's not enough sizes left or whatever at the arena. Shop now, shop NALshop.com, and get an opportunity to get some really cool merchandise. And we really do. When have you ever seen arena teams with like yard flags and sipping cups and all these really cool things? Well, we have it league wide. Just go to NALshop.com. There's a great selection. First time in our league history we've had this. So honestly, whether you're a new fan or an old fan, like I'm buying some stuff myself for Christmas. And I tell you, like, one of the things I talked about Brandon about is like, what's going to be something that we offer? And he goes, well, definitely tell the fans about the authentic NAL jerseys. That's pretty cool. That's not something that any league just offers out. We also are going to have fan jerseys. So if you just want to buy fan related jerseys to your team, you're more than welcome to do that as well. So this is not Black Friday. You can obviously shop us on Black Friday. This is actually going to be prior to Black Friday, so get excited. Just stay close to your phone. You're going to get more information. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. and we'll probably put something out on the league website. I think I know a guy that works on the league website that stands over here, so he might help us out there and help promote it. So
Are you in my room? What? No, you're not in my studio. You're in some luxury house somewhere.
by the way, Jim's office is just this window right here. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm nowhere near you, Steve. Don't even start that
That's
room.
my father-in-law's dining room. So
Don't start. People will
next
be like,
time
it's
you
a
interview me, we'll
conspiracy.
be in my actual office, which will be more relatable. So and indoors.
But before you visit Amazon.com, as you know, ladies and gentlemen, everyone loves Amazon. Visit NAL Shop. That's where to get it. That's the big thing about shopping. Just visit our stuff. Get the authentic stuff straight from the source. Because I don't. Is that the thing now? Just everyone online shops now.
It's
They
so
don't go to
bad.
the stores anymore.
Even my kids, like, they shop for each other. Like, we're just trying to get my 3-year-old to go to sleep, and my son has his iPad. He's like, "What do you want, Charlotte?" Like, and they're like literally adding stuff to the cart. Like, it's
Then you
just-
look at the bill. You go, oh, jeez.
Oh, jeez. Wait till
like-
she gets my credit card.
Oh, the good old credit card game. But with that, let's continue on for some other front office news and who is involved in certain things. And
Yeah.
we brought him up a couple times is Chris Reynolds.
Yeah. So I'm excited because I got to work with Chris Reynolds last year with his organization, and he actually stepped up and worked in the league office this year. And we couldn't have a better left and right hand for our commissioner. I'm really involved in the partnership side with the league when it comes to education, when it comes to job opportunities and outreach and things like that, working for federal organizations that will help promote the league. Chris Reynolds is going to be kind of our impact guy when it comes to first responders, military, your foundations and things like that. I don't want to say any individual names because that's not fair for either of us, but he's going to be working with a lot of the nonprofits and things like that. What you see at what the NFL does, what the NBA does, and things like that with NBA Cares and things like that. Chris Reynolds has a really big passion with that, and is a guy that's, he's ran an organization. He's also very football minded, and so his role in the front office beyond sponsorships is he's actually running our football operations this year, which is a great position that we brought back for the first time since Chris Siegfried. So to have a guy that was a head coach that really knows football, that really knows the ins and outs, the X's and O's, to run those operations and to even call out, good luck, head coaches this year. You got a guy that actually was a head coach that's going to know what's right from wrong and things like that. Not that we didn't know the rules. We know that we obviously have the ops manual, but we know that we have a guy in place now that knows it from the coach's shoes and knows it from the point of view of the head coaches, of how organizations should run, how things should go on time and things like that. He's running our transactions right now. He's helping us with football operations as we get ready for training camp in spring. So he's going to oversee the entire football operations of the league operations side of the National Arena League. So we're so happy to have him. Honestly, I like when we were going into like opening up this position, I'm like, I have someone in mind that would be perfect for it. And I'm glad he stepped up to the plate, and he's been kicking a butt. He's been a good ally to me in my position and has allowed me and Brandon to focus more on the business side of the NAL while he works on the football side of the NAL. Both have to work together. If our football is amazing and our business is down, those football teams are not going to have an audience to play to or a league to play for. So business has to be equal to the football side. And I think that's something that our owners understand, but it doesn't always trickle down to the, beyond the ownership side of that, because those are stuff we talk about in league meetings.
Right.
But we really have to have a strong league to support these teams. Otherwise, we're going to be playing in the arenas that can afford to be here, which is not a good thing. We want all of our teams to be able to afford to perform, succeed, and excel. So that takes really good football and really good business minds combining their efforts. And so that's where I think me and Chris kind of match. And honestly, Chris is an owner. He's known how to sell sponsorships. He's known how to operate, a team in a market. So he's, I've given him my advice, and he's given me his advice, and we're different age groups, so we have different backgrounds. So I think we're kind of a great melting pot of like, what can like a young generation and an older generation combine and work towards. And I think you're going to see some really cool partnerships come to the NAL because of me and Chris working together. And our partnership with, NAL Life was a combination of my ideas and Chris Reynolds' ideas coming together. So I know Brandon did a good job kind of introducing that, but it's a true fact. Like, I put out my 3 priorities for NAL Life, and Chris Reynolds put out his, and we kind of combined it together of how can we put nonprofits giving back to the community, the fans, and I said, well, how can we also give back to our players so they have a life after football, and our coaches who, what are they going to do in the off season if they're not the head coach? Not all these guys can afford to be full time. How can we continue to bring them back their talent we want, but also contribute to their lives for long-term careers and stuff like that. So I think me and Chris both had really great ideas, and Brandon accepted it. And that's how, stuff like NAL Life not only launches, but that's how NAL Life becomes a 10, 15, 20-year program that the league has. And any franchise that joins the NAL in 2028, 2030, you inherit all these great things like SNHU, like these nonprofit organizations, like these great opportunities that we're going to be able to offer. Hopefully, even with like our military branches and things like that we discussed earlier. If me and Chris Reynolds gets to keep working together, we kind of just started. I think he started like October 1st was the official date, so it's still new. But like, I can't wait to show you guys what we're going to do once the season kicks off and we're able to announce more things publicly.
Yeah, it's amazing how just a blink of an eye we were discussing and talking about the championship weekend in last year in Texas.
Yeah.
And now we are literally a few days away of being December. It's how quick the year goes. It felt like just yesterday, me and you, I reached out in the email to you years ago. I think it was like what, year 2 of the NAL or year 3 around there, or year 2?
It was Siegfried years. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's amazing how I go from just a normal podcaster to actually being part of the league, and you staying with the league and now being basically the right hand man of Brandon and being involved in everything is how we involved with the league.
Yeah.
And it's amazing that in 2026 we're a few days away. We'll have an episode. Of course, we have a couple more episodes in December. Maybe not as often because of the holidays. We got multiple holidays coming, and next week we get Thanksgiving. But as this is like a Thanksgiving special, remember next episode we will have Coach Shaw on, and probably QB1 for Colorado. He just recently signed, but next week we'll probably have both of them on. Just a little tease there. But Thanksgiving episode is this week. Next week we'll talk about Colorado. But before we end the episode, league-wide, career-wise, what are you thankful for?
I think I'm thankful for current opportunities and again, you're a great example of that. Connections that you make now, you never know where they're going to lead 3 years, 4 years down the road. You may think you're the best media guy in the world and might end up being the best business guy in the world or whatever. So I'm really thankful for the new position that I have with the NAL. I never thought that would ever even happen. I thought I'd be a media guy my whole life, but I've learned to grow, adapt, and it's happened in my, my life outside of the NAL where I never really was into technology. I was kind of forced into technology because that was part of my craft within broadcast and media. And that led to a full-time career in the NFL, working with technology. So you never know, like that side job or that side gig could end up being your full-time gig, or could be what you specialize in. Like you may think you're a head coach, right? And so you focus so much on being a head coach, but you don't realize that like you could be the best offensive coordinator in the league. And instead of being a 2-year guy as a head coach, you might be the best offensive coordinator for 5 more years or whatever if you just specialize in this thing. So you never know what path you're going to get in football, whether you're a coach, a player. Just be thankful for the opportunities you get. Don't burn bridges. Make every opportunity you can to connect with people. You never know, you might run into a strange guy at a Shark game named Jim, and he might end up being one of your biggest allies to support not only your position but the league that you work for, and end up being coworkers one day. And so that was very true for us. But so treat everybody like treat every opportunity as planting seeds and see how they grow, and be thankful when you get to harvest them. And so I'm definitely in my personal life moving into a new house, taking on new job opportunities, working with new teams, getting to get new coworkers in to work around me. So I'm not a team of 2, I'm a team of 4, 5, 6. Yeah, you guys are really my launching pad of what's about to come for the NAL. So I appreciate you guys providing me a lot of fuel to help me, and that's what I'm grateful for. Just new opportunities, former opportunities that continue to grow, and everything that comes with that. So
Well, and also, ladies and gentlemen, when people say rivals can't work with each other, I'm gonna tell you right now that it's not right. He's a Gator. I'm a Knoll. We work together very well, even though next week we're kind of bitter enemies right now. So
yeah,
as that matchup
my
is
sister
next
went to
weekend.
Florida State, so there's
So
some
look, there's a house
Sequoias that would
divided,
disagree. Yeah.
kind of. That's a
It
kind of a
depends what
house
household
divided.
I'm in. If I'm around my wife, we're Gators. If I'm around my sister, we're Knowles. It's weird. I'm a JU Dolphin, so that's like being in Alabama and they go, are you Auburn or are you Alabama? Like I'm Troy. You know what I mean? So
The thing
I
is
get to,
Auburn and Alabama, they
I
hate
get to
Troy.
live that. I get to live that luxury sometimes with between my families. Yeah.
That's a bad example because Auburn, Alabama, they hate Troy.
Right, no, I'm saying like I'm not picking one side or the other. I'm
Yeah,
that little guy in the middle. Don't hurt me.
yeah, I know you went
Yeah.
to a school that didn't have, well, at the time when you were there, they did, not any longer. They don't have a longer football program there now. They're
Yeah.
a good soccer team though. Baseball's good.
Good, good growing basketball program. I
Yeah.
hope so.
But
The only thing I got is March Madness every year. I look forward to that.
true. And the River City Rumble between the university
Yep,
and
and
UNF.
UNF. Yep.
Um, But again, you added some sentiments that I usually would say about what I'm thankful for, and I like to tell our listeners who like aspiring podcasters, you're gonna have to, when you get into the business, you have to learn how the business is operated. Don't go in thinking that you know what's best, because if you go in thinking you know what's best, you're ending up burning bridges that you didn't know you were burning. You have
Yeah.
to go into sport, my eyes open. Because I remember I was like, man, I wish we can do this, this, and this, and this. And I remember talking to you and Siegfried on the phones. And Siegfried literally, I still remember the conversation we had. He goes, you have great ideas. They've already been tried. So,
Yeah.
but at least listen. And one thing about, like, I'm thankful for that I've grown and learned. I've made great relationships through multiple organizations and multiple leagues. My hometown team, a team up in Pennsylvania or West Virginia, a team in North Carolina and Nebraska, Texas, New York for a couple years. And I'm still
could you imagine doing that back in like 2018? Like none of us thought it would grow to what it could be. You know what I mean? But you never know unless you keep trying. You never give up.
Yeah, never give
up.
up.
I will tell you this as a media guy. This is media guy to media guy. Someone gave me this advice. I hear it I've heard it ever since, but it actually really makes sense in media. The people that are your toughest critics are not really always your enemy, and the people that are trying to do you favors are not always your friend. So learn to kind of balance what really benefits you versus what's really benefiting them. Like focus more on your craft and focus. Don't be, just because I give you hard advice, do not be like, I'm never going to talk to Steven again. I'm burning that bridge. He's done. Never think of it like that. Like there's that saying that I said is true to that meaning. And then just because people are willing to do you a favor doesn't mean that they're your biggest ally. There may be some motivation behind that that's not beneficial to you. So stay on the right track, stay focused and stay sharp, regardless of what gets thrown your way or doesn't get thrown your way. Stay focused on your goal and your goal only. And I think you'll go pretty far in media. I think you're living proof. I think I'm living proof. Media for me has spiraled into so many different opportunities, but it never would have started if I didn't pick up the camera and start shooting or pick up the microphone and start talking. So that's step one. If you can get past step one successfully and not get offended by every little thing or every little comment, and also not like, oh, this guy did this for me, so I have to do everything that this guy says. No, cut that out. That doesn't, don't be a slave to the present. Just be focused on your goal, and I think you'll go really far. I think you're living proof of like what my message is, because I think you've always stayed true to that. Even though the climate of indoor and arena football has changed every single year, you've always stayed true to bringing the players close to the fans, bringing the coaches and the media close to the fans, and telling the truth. And not everybody can do all five of those things. And I suffered from that. Being on the buses with the players, I became really buddy with a lot of the guys where I had a hard time saying, man, that guy actually blew it. You know what I mean? And my friends and a lot of my close connections, I'm still friends with them to this day. Some of them are now head coaches for other teams and other leagues. But when they were players, they had good games and bad games. And I had to tell the truth, even when it hurt my stomach to tell the truth, or to write that article, or to deliver that guy to the local media, knowing they were going to shred him. But you got to do your job. And if you're not willing to do that, maybe sports is not for you. Maybe it's more of a hobby or something like that. So that's my best advice. I hope, obviously, you've listened to me your whole career, whether you've taken 100% or if it's been in or one out year. I hope some of it rubbed off on you, and a lot of stuff you've done rubbed off on me. So.
Well, the one thing I want to say is I'm thankful for the opportunity to cover this league and cover other intersport teams I've do in the past. And what was really good is if I'm away for like a couple of days or like a week or extended week, I'll get messages from head coaches, from commissioners, from players, and like, where are you? What's going on? They actually will reach out to see if I'm okay. I'm like, oh, I'm just taking a week off, or we're taking 2 weeks off because of
means you matter
reasons.
Yeah.
And so when you get to that stage, when people start reaching out to you, you've not really arrived. You know that you're how can I say, your game is respected, kind of.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna just say that I've been through the trials and tribulations of this industry. I've had multiple podcasts, multiple shows canceled a day of the show because people backed out, or because they didn't trust the media at the time. That was early stages when I was with the NAL, and then we have to, like, me and my one of my co-hosts, we had to like come together with some ideas quickly. Like, we got to get a show out, and then as we proved ourselves, more teams were more open. At that time, I think it was a previous team in our league here in my local town, Jacksonville. They were very like, the ownership group really pushed us. Like, you're doing a good job. Let's keep going. Relationship with that organization, Carolina, was great, and it's the work in progress. So that's my advice. If a podcaster reach out to me and say, hey, I got this story that I want you to break, and I go, okay, you want to break that story? Is it beneficial to you, to the player, or to the ownership group?
Yeah.
And if you say it's beneficial to you, you're in the wrong sport.
Yeah. You gotta split the dime between selfish and selfless.
Yeah.
And that's it's hard to do. Like in a lot of other crafts, selfish is gonna make you a lot of money, and selfless is gonna make you more popular.
Yeah.
And in media, you have to kind of go by that guide. Like, hey, I'm gonna break, and I'll give you a great example. I know information that no one else knows. If I break this story, I'm going to offend a lot of people and piss people off. But, man, I'm going to skyrocket because I'm the number one. But do I want to make that decision? And so, like, in media, we have to deal with that all the time. I think one of the coolest things, and me and you can relate because we're from the same city, being on the buses with that team, and traveling and sitting in the first 4 rows, which is usually your head coaches and the supporting staff, and then everybody else is players. And so me being able to sit behind the head coach of a team after a loss or after a good win, regardless, it was cool being that close. And then the fact that, like, guys like Sia Burley, head coach of the Sharks, won 2 championships, stops his little conversation with all of his coaches and looks behind him. And, of course, I'm sitting there, and I'm just the media guy. And when he says, Steve, what do you think? And he's talking football. And I was like, they're talking personnel. They're talking overall outcome, like how me and you would be sitting at a bar. Like, did we suck? Did we put in our all that stuff? And I looked at him. I'm like, are you asking me, coach? He wasn't talking to me as a media guy. He was talking to me as a teammate and as a colleague, and the amount of respect that I thought at that point, I'm like, I don't even think I deserve that amount of respect. But the fact that he even asked my opinion. And then what I thought was really clever of him is he explained why. And he goes, you see the game from a different perspective than us. All these coaches have their own jobs and have their own responsibilities. You're not part of that football world.
Yeah.
You're part of the media world where you're actually looking at it from the fan perspective and the ownership perspective and front office perspective. Tell me what you think. I was kind of his paradigm into, like, what Steven thinks is probably going to rub off on a lot of the owner side of the front office side. What do they thought of this game? Do we put in our all? Do we really do what we could have done? Should we have won that game? Do we make the right call?
Mm-hmm.
Like, he wanted to genuinely know. And I think that's really cool. Like, when you get really close with teams like that, and I know you got to experience that with players and coaches, just, with your show and getting to meet them one-on-one. When you get to be part of their lives and they actually look at you with sweat down there, cheek, and they actually say, "What do you think? Like, what's your thoughts?" And it's yeah, coach, we blew it. I think I agree, we blew it. But at the end of the day, the fact that they even want your perspective is like, military, you get all those patches. Like, I think to me that was something that I earned that day. That was really cool. I'll never forget that. By the way, that was like years ago, but I still remember it like it was yesterday. I even remember the team we played. I remember the bus ride, and I remember who was sitting in every single seat. And I just remember I was right behind the head coach, and he turned around. It's kind of cool. Like when you work in sports, you get cool memories like that, even if you're underpaid or overpaid. That's the stuff that you remember. You don't really care about, did I make X, Y, and Z? You just go, this happened, this happened. Here's my championship ring.
There are a couple of coaches that stand out to me. Of course, the current one in Jacksonville. It happened. I think it was it was 2 years ago. No, it was last year. It was a crucial. Again, we won the game, by the way, and you know how we go to the part of asylum where all the players coming out, and luckily for myself and one of my colleagues, we have opportunities at early access, and we get to be in the bench if we wanted to. And Gibby came by and just was crossing the arm. He goes, "What do you think about this?" Like he named the play, the exact moment, and I was like, "I think we got gypped." He goes, "I like your thoughts." He goes, "I think you're right." And then he comes back and we met. Like the Sharks had a little meeting on Tuesdays, and I remember that conversation. He goes, "Yep, we were both right," and he basically showed me the play. And then when coaches they don't even have to describe the whole entire game. They can describe a certain play, and you go, and you answer that quick. They know that they know you're paying attention to them, and they know that they're an extra set of eyes for you.
Yeah, you're not just a media guy. You're an asset. You're part of the team. That's what's cool. And I don't think people realize that, and I don't think I ever appreciated that until I got into those situations where I was like, I'm benefiting the team. Even if my little feedback gave us 1 extra yard, like you never know. So
True.
I think that's so cool in sports.
But overall, if to any aspiring podcaster or person who's trying to get into the sport, especially the NAL, especially any other leagues, especially for the NAL, don't be afraid to reach out to Steve and myself. We can help you get into the sport, learn how to do things, because honestly, the sport is better when there's more people covering it. And when there's more coverage, we get more players getting opportunities to get their face to the public, to build their brand, so they have an opportunity to excel in the sport, to not just play in the NAL, but aspire to get back to the NFL or the Canadian Football League.
Yeah, you never know where your career can go.
Exactly. So if you have a podcast, if you have an idea, do it. Just don't go on the chat boards and message boards or the websites of the teams and you're playing and like, I want to do this. Create your own image. Create your own product. You might get denied early. You might catch on fire. Just don't be afraid to not get into the field. And once you get into the field, it's not going to be easy. But you message me, message Steve, and there's a couple other individuals in this industry.
Don't complain. Yeah. If you get the opportunity, never complain, because I guarantee there's hundreds of kids. Yeah.
The best advice I ever got in this sport, the best came from an owner from my city. You know him very well. Expect 1,000%, but achieving 0%. He was basically saying, you better work your behind off and expect nothing.
Yep.
Once you start building a reputation, that nothing becomes something, then it becomes greater, then you get opportunity.
Yeah. And I tell you, any job interview I ever did, it was not always about what your degree, like the college specifically. It was, what did you study and master? What did you do? Not like, okay, I worked for the Pentagon, but what did you do for the Pentagon? Were you taking out trash? Were you doing whatever? But when I was able to say, like, with my opportunities with NAL teams and what I did with the NAL, what elevated me in a lot of opportunities was what I actually accomplished and what I did and the level of responsibility that I got. I didn't have to say I worked for the New York Yankees to get to a major league program and stuff like that. I'd have to say that I worked for the Boston Red Sox or the Minnesota Vikings. You don't need to do that. What you need to do is get the experience. You need to get with the right people to write the right recommendations, and you need to work your butt off. And if it doesn't take 1 year, it takes 2 years. If it takes 3 years, it doesn't matter. Because honestly, if you're 20 years old and it takes 3 years to get your dream job at 25, I think it's worth it. And I will tell you this before we go. The NAL, for the first time in history, is accepting internships. If you would like to apply, go to handshake.com. We have internships available. We're a collaboration with SNHU, but we will take students from any university. So as long as you're a student or a graduate looking for an opportunity, you can apply for internships. We're actually in the off season right now. We're actually applying. We're actually accepting interviews as we speak, and these could lead to opportunities. And I will tell you this: the NAL is an umbrella. So anybody that gets deferred, or if we fill up our spots for, let's just say, graphic design, and we still have candidates that are very qualified, we will be sending those out to our teams. So just because you don't work for the NAL doesn't mean you can't work for an NAL team. So apply today. Go to handshake.com and look up the National Arena League, or visit SNHU, or just reach out and email front office at nationalarenaleague.com. There's a lot of opportunities that we're looking to fill. We already have candidates lined up. But like I said, Jim, like, just because you get turned down once, and I've been turned down plenty of times in my life, I've been turned down more times than I've been accepted. Nobody talks about that. All they care about is where you are now and what you've accomplished now. So who cares if you didn't get the interview, or who cares if you didn't? And I know you are the same way as too. Like, you've done podcasts for years with the NAL before we ever brought you on board. Like, you got to put in your time and put on your effort. And I'll be honest, I'm going to put a disclaimer out there right now. If you apply, be ready to work. If you just want to try this out and see how it goes, apply somewhere else. We're looking for people that can put in a hard time commitment to, contribute to the league and put out quality content. Or if we don't get selected, there's teams in our league that are interested in you that want to work. Make sure, don't make the NAL look bad for us recommending you. Put in the hours, put in the time, regardless.
Put in the work.
And good things will happen. I think I'm a living proof of that. I'm an NAL product that's gotten to great levels. I'm working now directly under the commissioner of the NAL, thanks to my opportunities in the NAL. And I've gotten a lot of opportunities around and outside the NAL just because of stuff that I got to do that, like, people my age back then never got to do. So I was extremely, I was extremely competitive because of the opportunities I was given, not because of the places that I worked or where I worked, but the time that I had and how I utilized it. So that's my advice. Again, opportunities are available. Just visit nationalarenaleague.com or just email us at front office at National Arena League. I'm running out of breath, Jim. Anything else we got?
I can tell you feel like you're running a marathon. Get some water. You were talking about the success and hit rate and failures of reply. If me and you put our resumes together and how many places we've been denied from, it'll be freaking ridiculous how many places I was denied from.
Yeah.
It started from, like, I was told, go big or go home. So if you're entering the sports media, who's the first company that you apply to?
Yep.
It's a 4-letter network. I'm just saying. And
my favorite story of that is getting the job with the NFL team that I work for. And that season, I got turned down by an NFL team. But not in a bad way. Like, I finished second, and they told me that, like, you made it really high in the process, but we're going with someone local. And this close to the season, I completely understood what they were doing. But it was cool traveling to that city and getting to go into their control room and actually shake their hand and be like, hey, I actually ended up getting an NFL opportunity, and, like, nice to meet you. We talked. We had an interview and everything like that. I'm officially your colleague now. Like, we're equal. And so, like, you never know. And, like, not to rub it in their face, like, they're great. And I'm still, like, they're one of my favorite teams that we play against. But you get those opportunities in life. And just because you got turned down now, it's not never. It means not yet.
Very competitive. If you're entering broadcasting, I went to a good broadcasting university. You went to a great one as well.
Yeah.
It's a competitive, but yet a cutthroat industry. A lot of people, they get into it thinking that they're going to be the next, Scott Van Pelt. They're going to be the next Jim Rome, and they got to realize they got to start off doing midnight shift radio on, like, a 1010 XL or WFLA 930, and work your way up.
Talk to us when you're 30. You know what I mean? If you're coming out of college, it's like it really is. It's that serious.
You're gonna get the graveyard all the time.
Yeah.
And for me, in that early, I thought I didn't stink, and did something else. Like, I deserve better, and didn't take those gigs early in my career, and it set me back. But again, I just started so like, let me get back in the mix of things. 7 years ago, I started this show, multiple shows, and now I'm happy that I got back into the business, and I'm working my way, and I'm proud to be associated with the NAL because
Absolutely.
you have no idea where this will be in 5 years. I may be in another league that starts with the letter N, but
Yeah.
but
I think honestly,
take
Jim, I think me and you are living proof. Like, if you're gonna
Yeah.
invest in two people, invest in yourself and invest in your friends. I think
Sure.
like me and you prove that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So, worst comes to worst, even if it failed, no one's gonna blame you for
We're not
investing in
trying.
yourself
Yeah.
and investing in your friends. So why not go all out on that and put all the cards on the table and go for it? And you never know, you might end up being coworkers one day.
The thing is my father literally, remember my father gave me this speech, is I'd rather deal with a multiple time failure than a quitter.
Yeah, 100%.
Because a
And we're
quitter
neither.
means you just
Yeah.
gave up. A failure means you failed, but at least you tried.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. So.
but with that, ladies and gentlemen, we can go down to the little slob story of both our lives and our media. We go different paths, but we ended up here. Yeah. I need to add some music or some violins or something like that. Thank you for the people who are tuning in. We'll be back next Wednesday night, same time. Maybe actually no, probably have to move it up to Tuesday because of Thanksgiving, people for traveling.
Yep.
So if you're traveling for Thanksgiving, ladies and gentlemen, get to the airport on time, get to the train station on time, get your Ubers correctly, drive safe, drink responsibly, go watch your football teams during rivalry week. Do not beat up your fellow household recipients or your family members. If you
Or your
celebrate,
in-laws.
or your in-laws, don't put them through tables. Buffalo, I'm looking at you. But we got some big games next week, especially in college football. Be safe when you're traveling to your family if you're not going to tune in next episode. Next week, we will visit Colorado, talk to the Spartans with Coach Shaw and probably QB1. The big-time signing for Colorado, especially big-time signing for the National Arena League, so we'll have both of them on next week. But again, if you can't reach us here, remember all of our shows are on all of our platforms, especially YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, or X. Every Tuesday or every Wednesday night, and some Tuesdays in the mix due to scheduling. But we'll be back next week. Steve, what else? Oh, NALshop.com. Remember,
Black Friday, guys.
Black
And
Friday,
before Black Friday.
we got
Yep.
things going like crazy.
Fan
And all-
jerseys, authentic jerseys. I mean, I think 3 years ago, Jim, we dreamed about something like this, and now it's reality. And like, it's so
True.
funny. I don't know. Are we spoiled or what? Like now it's just like, oh yeah, we got a league shop. That's cool. Let's just
No,
click and buy. And it's just like
you know what's happened, Steve? We're getting to that age where we're like, back in my day.
we didn't
That's
have
where we're
anything
getting.
like this.
Exactly. We're getting to that stage now. We're like, back in my day.
Yeah. Now it's just like, oh, we should have had this,
Yeah.
So, but no, that's by the way, that's a big credit to our partners with the Goat Marketing. They're a great brand. Really brought our league back to life when it comes to merchandise. And it's something that I think, I mean, at this point, it's 2025. We're in the digital era. Every league should have this. I'm just glad that we're one of the few that does, at least at our
And also,
sport,
you can just
so.
get regular league gear like I do. So you can
Yeah.
get like regular league gear. So you can do.
Brandon's going to
represent the
yell at me
leagues.
for not wearing my NAL stuff, but Brandon, I'm moving. I know you're watching this. My stuff is in boxes. I'm wearing the same polo I wore yesterday.
Excuses.
So
Excuses. He's lying to you, Brandon. There's a
I just
bunch
got
of
my
excuses.
keys today. I got my keys to the house. So moving in.
Moving in. But
Next
with that,
show,
ladies and
I'll be in
gentlemen,
my actual office, not my in-laws. And next show, I'll wear an NAL polo or my really cool NAL dry fit that Brandon got me, which is like one of my favorite fishing brands. So I mean, that's the cool thing about the diversity of Goat Marketing. So credit to that.
Yes.
So
a lot of great gear for all 9 organizations, from hoodies to mini helmets to quilts, towels, and sippy cups. And also, thanks to our sponsor, SNHU, for the opportunity to be associated with the National Arena League. Go with them or pursue higher education. SNHU, visit their website. And remember, visit NALshop.com on Black Friday and even before Black. You don't have to wait to Black Friday. Do it now. Do it now before you do
follow us. Yep. I think they're
And-
going to do, I'm just going to give a hit. I think they're going to launch something within the next week or so. Right before Black Friday, there's going to be something that has to do with, I believe, authentic jerseys and fan jerseys. So this is not a Black Friday day of thing. Please stay following us the week of Black Friday, Thanksgiving and everything like that, and you'll see what deals we're going to offer. I would jump on it, guys. Do not wait till the home opener, and do not wait till mid-season when we don't have all the sizes or whatever it is. Just order it now, get it fresh. put it under the Christmas tree, guys, or whatever holiday you celebrate. Make the NAL a stocking stuffer. Go to NALshop.com.
All right, NALshop.com. Got the graphic right there as well. And I think that's it, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back next week for another edition of Inside the Walls podcast here, part of the National Arena League. Remember, visit all information on the National Arena League at thenationalarenaleague.com. Also on all of our social media at NALfootball.com. That's Steven Chitola, the assistant of the commissioner. I am Jim Mernier. We'll see you guys next week for another edition of the Inside the Walls podcast. And for all the people who are traveling next week, be safe, be well, drink responsibly, and hopefully you get to tune in to next week's episode. It's going to be big. That's Steve. I'm Jim. We'll see you guys next